to the point of insanity because you're leaving. Hey there, fellow movie buffs. Welcome back to another thrilling flick. Before we dive into the heart of the matter, I'd like to extend a warm invitation for you to hit that subscribe or follow button and embark on this exhilarating journey of exploring our futures together. To all the new members joining my tribe of subscribers and followers, a hearty welcome. You're now part of our extended family, and I'm delighted to have you on board. It's fantastic to see you returning and finding value in the content I share. Your time is truly appreciated. If you enjoy what you see, please consider showing your support by clicking the like button. It's our tribe's way of thriving here in the YouTube community. Today, let's delve into the fascinating world of narcissists and the whirlwind of emotions that ensue once you've bid them adieu. Indeed, the pain sets in the moment you walk away. So, without further ado, shall we dive right in? The curtain has fallen, and the act of parting ways has unfolded. Whether the breakup was initiated by you or the narcissist, the outcome remains the same. You've exited the stage. As I mentioned in a previous film, it seems you've now seized control of the narrative. It's as if you've snatched the spotlight and bolted like lightning. With you gone, let's unravel the aftermath, left in the hands of a certain comedic character attempting to navigate the fallout solo. Alright, let's map out the journey of pain step by step, so you grasp the full spectrum of what's to come. Now, for those tuning in who've traversed this territory before, you might have caught wind of it through the grapevine. Those so-called flying monkeys or other remnants of the narcissist's circle. That's where the ache first takes root. Those in close proximity to the narcissist have witnessed this cycle unfold repeatedly post your departure. They'll keep mum, though, especially to family, masking the truth of the recurring pattern. They won't divulge that you're just one in a series of similar encounters, each ending the same way. Nope, that tidbit of intel won't make it your way. So, the narcissist kicks into overdrive. The smear campaign was already in motion long before your exit strategy came into play. Now the focus shifts to their inner circle, now that you've commandeered the spotlight and made your exit. Allow me to channel the narcissist's perspective, imagining she's a woman, as I'm one myself, aiming to capture the essence of her likely narrative. In her shoes, she'd likely lament, "I warned you from the get-go about her instability. I made it clear she was incessantly trying to assert control, always needing to be right. There were moments she'd begrudge my time with friends or my childhood pals. I mean, those friendships are decades old, and we've been tight-knit since we were kids. She always had her nose in my business, monitoring my every move. I'm a grown woman, for crying out loud." Hey guys, this narrative can resonate with you too. Some of these lines are probably echoes of what a female narcissist has uttered or would utter to her inner circle. "You know, he never wanted me hanging out with my girlfriends," she'd claim. "It always seemed like he was suspicious, thinking I was sneaking around or keeping secrets. He craved too much control." This is the script they're peddling to the flying monkeys. It's the tale they spin within their clique, and to anyone willing to lend an ear. This is their version of events. All right, gather round, folks, for those ready to listen to this jester, this caricature sporting a crown of 10, as one of our tribe aptly dubbed it, got to chuckle. But let's stay on track. This is the narrative they're weaving. Here's where the pain kicks in. But let's not forget, they've run this playbook many times, so they're pros at executing their scheme. Before they even started smearing your name, they were already seeing someone else on the side. But they're strategic about who they rope into believing your supposed bad rep, all right? They cherry-pick their audience because they know once the breakup goes down, They'll need those people they've tainted your image with. These are the same folks who were vocal critics, with strong opinions when you were together. Think about it. They were essentially undermining you, my dear. Right from the start, they had their reservations about you, evident in how they treated you initially. In the beginning, they might have appeared friendly, showering you with compliments like, "Oh, she's so kind, so smart, so this, so that." They'd seek out those who were outspoken with their praise, saying things like, "She's stunning, intelligent, and all around amazing." This all unfolded as the relationship, or as I prefer to call it, the addiction-ship, with the narcissist began to unravel, revealing nonsensical discrepancies. And gentlemen, my noble kings, you can easily flip the scenario and apply it to yourselves. So, they'd approach these individuals and sow seeds of doubt, launching a premeditated assault on your character. Essentially, they harbored negative sentiments about you long before the discard. If you invited them somewhere, they'd decline with excuses like, "Sorry, we're tied up with other plans," when in reality, they were actively participating in the smear campaign against you. They weren't genuinely occupied. They simply didn't want to be in your presence. They kept their distance because the narcissist had been feeding them lies and affirmations that aligned with their agenda. Always remember, a narcissist orchestrates every move with precision. Now let's revisit the topic of pain. Yes, they had already begun spreading falsehoods about you well before the breakup even occurred. Once the discard happened, they had to escalate their deceitful crusade hastily. Now, let me narrate what unfolded next. They reached out to the same individuals they had initially tainted your reputation with, maybe a sibling, perhaps your mother, or anyone else in their clique foolish enough to swallow their lies. They spun their tales to anyone in their inner circle, their close friends of any gender, or anyone willing to lend an ear. That's their target audience. They had a clear idea of who to approach, because when they introduced you to their circle, they already knew who would harbour resentment towards you. Why? Because you shine too brightly, you exude wisdom, and your radiance is something they envy. Where there's one narcissist, there's usually another lurking in the shadows, regardless of what you believe. Moreover, they never held affection for you, darling. Right from the start, they harboured disdain towards you. They foresaw that their association with you would inevitably conclude, and this is where the agony commences. Who will foot the bill for their gas now? I said it before. Who will prepare their meals? Since you often rectified the narcissist's blunders, who will ensure the debts they left behind are settled? Granted, they hardly contributed anything substantial, yet you tolerated them out of love. I know this firsthand. I've been there, done that. I even have a t-shirt to prove it. They're all critics, you see. The narcissist then turns to those who hold a grudge against them. They're primed to finish what they started. But wait, there's more. The smear campaign persists. Who will cover their gas expenses now? They'll have to rely on their new supply, which pales in comparison. Yes, I said it. And I mean it. The new, less capable supply that can't offer even a fraction of what you provided. And here's why. Within the mind of a narcissist lingers this notion that the grass is greener on the other side. As I've mentioned before, they remain oblivious to the dirt beneath the surface until they fit the turf. I wish they'd invested the effort to nurture their own patch of grass. Alas, the bitter reality is they lack the capability to do so. Their inherent selective ignorance, coupled with their disorder, renders them incapable. I've stated it, and I stand by it. They cannot think clearly. When you encounter someone devoid of rational thought, rest assured, you've stumbled upon a true fool. You've exited the scene, assuming control of the power source, leaving them in the dust, my dear. Now the narcissist must turn to their minions, their flying monkeys, who now foot the bill for gas and prepare their meals. These flying monkeys will reach out to you, acting as proxies for the narcissist. The cycle of manipulation begins anew. They'll utter phrases like, "Hey, how have you been? So-and-so filled us in on what transpired, and we think it's only fair to hash things out and possibly reconcile. After all, there are children involved, and perhaps some time apart for reflection is warranted. You might even contemplate returning to that chaotic scenario. I'm not buying it." To entertain the idea of reverting to the past. You might be engulfed in agony, feeling as though a fragment of your soul has been lost in the process. But here's a revelation. It's far preferable to endure the pain now and release it than to entertain the thought of returning to that chaos. Once you've moved forward, the pain sets in because the new supply fails to fulfill the narcissist's desires, falling short of meeting their needs. This deficiency is inevitable with the replacement, as their allure vanished the moment you exited the stage. While you were the primary source of sustenance, fulfilling all their whims, they indulged in leisure activities carefree, often without gainful employment, to contribute to the household's upkeep. You shouldered the burdens while they gallivanted, deceiving you while you toiled away, only to return home with a smile plastered on their face. What's happening now, my dear? The entourage and those trusty flying monkeys are scrambling to fill the void left by your absence. Yes, the calls will start trickling in, if they haven't already, urging you to engage in dialogue. What's your take? If the phone rings while you're tuned into this feature, let them know where you stand. Understand that I've closed the door on dialogues with someone who evidently holds no regard for my well-being. When you dissect the situation, it becomes apparent they never harbored genuine interest in you. Recognizing you were entangled with a calamitous figure, they chose silence. Why entertain their overtures now? All they seek is to alleviate their own burdens by shifting the blame back onto you. But you can keep that burden. It's yours to bear. I'm forging ahead with my life now that I've reclaimed control. Let them manage the pandemonium. They should handle it as they found it. Agreed. The pain commences now that I've moved forward. Let them grapple with the consequences and live with their choices because, let's face it, they showed no concern when you were suffering and airing grievances about their family's misconduct. Instead, they were too preoccupied relaying every word back to the narcissist. Now that you've progressed, let them grapple with the repercussions of their actions. Keep your distance. It's all part of the strategy. As I always advocate, crank it up to the max, stay attuned to your instincts and intuition, and elevate your energy and vibe. That's the key to steering clear of these individuals. Crank up the volume. They aren't concerned about your well-being. Remember that the agony begins for them now that you've departed. Let that troop of flying monkeys and their newfound source of supply be their companions in suffering. It's a wrap. Before we wrap up this video, I want to remind everyone to stay blessed and favored. Catch you in the next one. Before you go, don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the content. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts or anecdotes. Feel free to spread the word by sharing this video with others if you believe it could benefit them. Lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to receive our latest content directly in your inbox. Thank you for your support, and we're committed to continuing to provide valuable insights. Stay resilient, everyone. Until next time. Who can outsmart a narcissist when they're playing by their own rules? How do you outmaneuver them? What methods can you employ to fend them off? How do you effectively guide them? Or is it all futile? Indeed, there exists a way to triumph over them, but it necessitates sidestepping their meticulously crafted tactics. over which they reign supreme. Just as wrestling with pigs leads to both parties getting dirty, with the pigs reveling in it, while you end up feeling soiled and perhaps even injured, confronting a narcissist can yield similar outcomes. So, how does one confront them? The precise answer on how to defeat them eludes me. In today's episode, we'll unravel this mystery. I am deeply appreciative of your decision to join me on my channel. Today, we'll explore 5 innovative strategies aimed at empowering you to overcome a narcissist without resorting to physical confrontation. Intrigued? Don't forget to subscribe before we dive in, as your subscription aids in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse, a topic I consistently highlight and advocate for. 1. Chill out around them. Narcissists thrive on exploiting your emotions, as I've emphasized before. They feed off emotional turmoil, akin to parasites and predators thriving in their element. The moment your emotions are stirred, they gain a sense of empowerment. Should you react to their provocations with anger and raised voices, you inadvertently relinquish control of the situation, deviating from your authentic self. Yet, for narcissists, their essence is encapsulated in their tumultuous demeanor. Given this reality, what's the optimal approach? Refuse to succumb to their attempts at inciting you. Instead, delineate firm boundaries and assert your personal space. Remember, when they seek to rationalize their behavior, refrain from responding with anger or aggression. No justifications are owed, and you need not prove your worth to them. They are fully cognizant of their actions. The issue lies in their reluctance to acknowledge them or their eagerness to shift blame onto you. If engaging in an argument would yield no benefit, then it's futile to entertain it. Engaging in these futile discussions will only lead to the loss of your most precious possession, yourself, your peace of mind, and your resilience. Cease the futile attempts to justify yourself. Consider why you seek explanations. The accusations they hurl at you often bear no resemblance to reality. They are merely attempting to gaslight you into questioning your sanity. With such deceitful individuals, there's no point in trying to rationalize or explain anything to them. The 4th and pivotal step is to refrain from internalizing the blame they attempt to shift onto you. Expect them to hurl every negative epithet and derogatory term your way. However, it's essential to remind yourself, that does not reflect my truth, and refrain from taking their words personally. This tactic, known as projection, serves as a shield for them, essentially confessing their own faults through projecting them onto you. Your task is to gather evidence to substantiate such confessions. If the narcissist accuses you of harming our children, recognize that this behavior is out of character for them. It's like they've left you a clue, signaling that something's amiss, and it's up to you to decipher it. Take a step back and maintain your composure when they escalate into uncontrollable yelling and screaming. This grants you control over the situation. You can calmly respond with something like, "Let me know when you're ready to have a civil conversation," and then remain silent until they calm down. Consistently redirect the conversation back to the main topic or address the issue at hand. Persist in asserting your boundaries and refusing to grant them power over you. For instance, you might calmly state, "I don't engage with that level of aggression," and leave it at that. Refuse to be drawn into their manipulative tactics or exploitation attempts. Responding with brief, assertive statements or monosyllabic responses can also be effective. For example, "That's not what happened," or "I respect your opinion, but we can agree to disagree." By maintaining your cool and not reacting to their tantrums, you diminish the effectiveness of their manipulative behavior. 2. Keep calling the shots. Stay calm. It's important to control how you react, because others might try to use it against you. When I say stay decisive, I mean keep your brain's thinking area, the prefrontal cortex, working well. But how do you do that? By paying attention to how your body feels. When we're scared or stressed, our brains can't think clearly. We can't plan or make good choices. That's because our advanced thinking part, the prefrontal cortex, isn't working right. Instead, we're stuck in survival mode, where our emotions guide us. But that won't help us here. So, always pay attention to how your body feels and try to relax it. When dealing with a narcissist, think of them like a barking dog on a leash. They can only bark while you stay relaxed and careful, but not too worried. Being overly cautious won't help. Relax your guard. Stay alert but relaxed, like a wet noodle. This is super important, as my own experience shows. Your help is appreciated. Think of it as playing chess. Before you make a move, think about what others might do next. Sit up straight, keep your arms relaxed, and remind yourself that you're dealing with someone who acts like a toddler. It's my job, but I don't have to react. The third strategy involves leveraging their narcissism. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of playing into their narcissistic tendencies. While it may seem daunting, there are various ways to use a narcissist's obsession with their own image to your advantage if you understand this trait well. You can tap into their desire to be seen as a superior parent by important figures like the court system or law enforcement. Position your decisions as beneficial for your children, and you might just get them to reluctantly agree. Some narcissists also have a fear of being exposed, so consider how you can trigger that fear and make them feel compelled to act swiftly to prevent it. Think about what might tempt them to act impulsively, perhaps the promise of immediate gratification to stroke their ego, assert dominance, or feel in control. Use these insights to craft your own strategies for manipulating their weaknesses to achieve your goals. 4. Present the truth without excessive pursuit of victory. Next, focus on presenting the facts rather than aiming solely to win. Narcissists excel at manipulation, so getting too caught up in winning can lead you astray from the bigger picture. They know all the tricks to throw you off course or stall progress. Therefore, instead of obsessing over victory, prioritize navigating through the challenges ahead. That should be your ultimate goal, but remain cautious. When I say stick to the facts, I mean gather and present concrete evidence for each of their actions. In legal settings, you can't directly label someone as a narcissist. Some observers might even dismiss your claims as mere psycho-labeling if you mention narcissism in their presence. How can you prove your case? Diagnosing someone as a narcissist takes months. Keep the end goal in mind. So, how do you plan to skillfully handle this? Highlight every aspect of their behavior with precision. Let's delve into the characteristics often associated with narcissists. They can be haughty, vengeful, punitive, uncooperative, hostile, strict, condescending, exploitative, excessive, and occasionally masochistic. This list could go on indefinitely. However, instead of labeling them as narcissists, let's explore alternative adjectives that capture their personality traits. Your task is to identify and gather evidence for each trait they exhibit. For instance, provide specific examples showcasing their haughtiness, masochism, and rigidity. Start by listing examples, followed by presenting concrete evidence. Ensure that the evidence is readily accessible, or demonstrate it if necessary. Create a folder labeled Exploitation for any relevant text messages, making it easier to locate evidence when needed. Your assignment is to draft a comprehensive biography of this individual, detailing their character traits. Use a Word document to describe these traits in depth, providing evidence for each one through examples and descriptions. This approach will portray you as level-headed, sensible, assertive, and articulate, demonstrating that you have more evidence than mere words. Unlike narcissists, who often rely on empty talk, your documentation will speak volumes. The key lies in knowing how to leverage it effectively. 5. Recognize when to step back. Know when to take a step back. This is crucial when dealing with narcissists. They thrive on what they perceive as supply, whether positive or negative. However, it's important to recognize when providing this supply is no longer beneficial. If a situation becomes untenable or unproductive, it's time to cut ties and move forward. Stick to your decision and act accordingly. In some cases, scheduling a meeting with a narcissist can be counterproductive, especially if you're seeking negotiation or cooperation. During such meetings, they may deflect blame and avoid addressing the issue at hand. If this occurs, it's perfectly acceptable to acknowledge the situation and suggest revisiting the discussion at a later, more opportune time. Alternatively, you can choose to let the matter rest for the time being. Knowing when to step back is key to maintaining your emotional and mental well-being in interactions with narcissists. Step back and assert yourself. Ensure they don't manipulate you. They dislike you and find your presence unpleasant. They take pleasure in humiliating you, often labeling you as insane, even when they fit the description better. Take control of your life. Refuse to tolerate their abuse or nonsense. Recognize when to cut them off or walk away from the situation. Only reward them with attention or resources when they behave respectfully or show improvement. Treat interactions with them like a business transaction. Give only as much as you receive in return. Think of it as a casino. Test different approaches and reactions. Be flexible and adaptable. Experiment with different strategies to see what works best. Celebrate small victories and learn from them. Discard what doesn't work and continue to grow until you achieve your goals. Leave no trace of their toxicity behind as you move forward. That's all for today. I hope this episode provided some insights. Feel free to leave a comment to share your thoughts. Your presence here is greatly appreciated. Until next time, may your journey toward healing